Thank you, everybody, for joining us to this session, ERM 203, the new and improved ALMA overlap analysis tool. This is overlap analysis for electronic collections. This is part of the 2023 Electronic Resource Management Series. Let's go take a look at that series here. I'm going to send out a link to this page. I think most people have it in any case because most people registered through here. I'm sending out to the chat the link to this page. Those of you watching this via YouTube, you will see the link to this page in the description of the video. This page here. So let's see where we are in this series. We started already way back in September with a general overview and background. Then we moved on to the order and activate collections, then ordering and activating portfolios, then general maintenance of the e-resources, bulk updates, for example. Then last week, we did troubleshooting discovery, looking at some use cases of common questions regarding the discovery aspects of electronic resources. And today, we're on overlap analysis of the electronic collections. So let's jump right in. If anybody has any questions or comments, feel free to send them in via the chat. We're going to start with a general introduction. Then we're going to look at the use cases of why someone would want to use the overlap and collection analysis for electronic resources. We're going to look at 3 specific use cases, and then we're going to do the specific use cases. So the beginning is just going to be a little theory and introduction, maybe for 5-10 minutes. Then we're going to go into ALMA and run the overlap collection analysis for electronic collections live and look at the output and see what we've got. So it often happens that an institution will order or activate and order several electronic collections which contain the same titles. One journal might be in several electronic collections. It's often the case. And the institution will want to minimize the amount of overlap so that they're not paying for the same title twice or even more times. However, sometimes it's necessary to have that overlap because there are unique titles in 2 different collections, which are very important. So there's some overlap, but it's worth it in any case because there are unique titles in each collection, which are very important. So that's the situation we have. We've redone the overlap collection analysis in the last year, and we've added many features, among them the ability to select a community zone collection. So it doesn't necessarily have to be an electronic collection that you've already activated, but one that you're considering purchasing. It's also possible to compare one electronic collection to the entire institution zone. Rather than just taking 2 collections and comparing them, you can take one collection and compare it to everything you have. And for those working in a network zone consortia, it's also possible to add the network zone holdings, network zone inventory as an option for the overlap. We're not going to be doing that today with the network zone. We're going to be doing the first 2 examples, plus we're also going to be doing an example where we can upload a file from a vendor. So let's look at 3 specific use cases. The first use case, an institution is considering purchasing a new electronic collection. Before they purchase it, they want to know what in this collection would I actually be gaining if I purchase it. It might be, for example, that there's a collection in the community zone the institution is considering purchasing. Maybe it's got 100 titles, and maybe 75 of them the institution already has. So that means they're only going to be gaining 25 new titles, and they have to consider for those 25 new titles, is it worth it? Maybe it is because they're very important, but maybe it's not worth it because 75 of them they've already got. So that's the first case. Considering purchasing, it's not something already in the institution. And this is just a visualization of it. It's comparing on the left all of the electronic resources in the institution zone with what's on the right, the potential electronic collection. I say potential because they potentially may purchase it, and then they want to know if they do, how much overlap is there going to be? And we're going to run that. Another option, another use case, let's say, is an institution is considering canceling an already existing electronic collection. So they have the electronic collection already. They're considering canceling it, but they want to know, if we cancel this, what are we really losing? Again, maybe there's 100 titles and maybe 75 of them they already have in other electronic collections. So they'd really only be losing 25. But what are those 25? Are they very important? In other words, as it states here, does it make sense for the institution to cancel the electronic collection? Will a lot of titles be lost because they're not in other electronic collections? Or maybe they will be lost or will not be lost. And then they'll see if there's a lot of overlap, then maybe it is worth canceling. And if there's little overlap, that means they'd be losing a lot and not recommended to cancel. But that's already an internal decision. We're just providing the tools to see what is the overlap. Let's move on to use case 3. The institution receives a file from a vendor, and it has a list of titles with identifiers, maybe ISBNs for ebooks, maybe ISSNs for journals. Institution wants to know, in this file, what do I already have? So then that file can be loaded, compared to what's already in Alma, and then an output file showing what is new and what do we already have. And then based on that, they can decide whether to purchase or not. Okay, so let's see how we access the overlap analysis. We'll come in from resources, advanced tools, and overlap and collection analysis. And then we get to the overlap and collection analysis screen. This, by the way, if anyone was in the recent session about the sets management, which, by the way, there's another session on that this evening, or it's going to be my evening. It's in another 7 hours from now, if anyone's around. We had a session yesterday on it as well. This is the new interface, which includes, for example, the split view. I'm just clicking the split view on the top right there, back to the list view, double clicking it, it opens it. Moving around in the sections here, it's highlighting the different sections. So this is the standard new interface that we have for the analytics objects list, for the resource sharing task list, for the PO line task list, and also here, all part of the new interface. And if we're going to run a new one, which we're going to run now, we'll say new analysis. On the top right here, I click new analysis. And now we're going to say compare collections. And we're doing now the use case 1, which we talked about earlier. That's the institution is considering purchasing a new collection from the community zone. And before they purchase this new collection, they want to know, what are we going to be gaining from this? Is there a lot of overlap or is there not a lot of overlap? And we're going to be doing this considering that we're going to be considering to purchase an electronic collection, Elsevier Science Direct ebook, Referex Miscellaneous. Let's actually first take a look at that. So let's search for that electronic collection here, called Elsevier. Let's put it in here, called Elsevier. Let's just do that. So right now I'm searching the institution zone. I'm confirming that I don't yet have it, even though I already know I don't, but we're confirming in any case. And then we're going to search for it in the community zone, see that it's there, then we're going to run the overlap analysis. Okay, so here it is in the community. Here it is in the institution. Okay, Let's say now I want to cancel it even. I want to know, what am I going to be losing from this? I see that we already do have it. I searched the institution. We already do have it. So now we want to know what's going to happen if I were to cancel this. It's got 386 portfolios. Some of these portfolios I may have already in other collections. So let's see what's going to happen here. So we'll go back, resources, overlapping collection analysis, and we'll run that compare collections. So we'll say new and let's give it a name. It by default calls it new report with the current date, and we'll call it ERM 203. That's our session today, just so we know this is ours. And we'll say, what will I, or let's say we'll call it overlap with, and I'll put in the name of the collection just so we know what we did here, even though we'll see that we can already see in other ways what we did, because we've got a full log, we'll call it, of everything that was done there. So this is going to be Elsevier Science Direct, ebooks, Referex, miscellaneous. Okay, and we'll hope we spelled all that correctly. And I'll take this with me because soon we're going to be searching for it. Okay, choose the collection source for which you want to evaluate. So let's choose that. Now we'll search for it. I'm going to search for it here in the community. Because even though I already have it, it's in the community, we can get all the information straight from there as well. Here it is, 386 portfolios, and we'll select. Okay, now what do we want to compare that with? We can do it with selected collections from the institution zone. So we can say, what's in Elsevier Science Direct's ebooks, Referex, miscellaneous with another specific collection or collections? Or I can compare it with other collections in the community zone, because maybe I'm considering purchasing another one from the community zone and I want to compare them, but I'm going to compare this with the entire institution zone. Then I have different match methods, because somehow we have to know that it's the same title. One way is to use ISSNs. One way is to use ISBNs or the LCCN or the 035, other system identifier. But let's choose the title. It's going to be the normalized title, of course, and we'll see that. Then we have an option to limit it to an available for group. We're not going to use that. However, just a little background, some institutions use something called available for, where they can activate electronic resources and make them available only for certain campuses or only for certain libraries. Then we can include the date coverage in the comparison, because we may want to know, is there a full coverage overlap or just a partial coverage overlap? Maybe in the other collections where I have the same title, I have from 1999 to 2023, and maybe in another collection I have only from 2000 to 2023. So we also want to know that. Then we have the reference with the embargo, if we want to take the embargo into consideration, the embargo being the amount of time where the publisher doesn't allow full text access to the most recent content. They might be the last 6 months, for example. Do we want to take that into consideration? We may. And include physical title matching indication in the electronic report. So also to know, do I have this in physical? Maybe I don't have the electronic title, the electronic resource in another collection, but maybe I have the physical version. We're not going to check that now. Okay, so in summary, let's actually click generate, and then we'll talk in summary. We are checking now, clicking the generate here, and now it's running. So in summary, we're checking now the Elsevier Science Direct eBooks Referex miscellaneous collection. what portfolios of that electronic collection do I have already in other electronic collections? With the goal, because this one is already purchased, with the goal of knowing, can I or should I cancel this? Okay, so that's running. It's 25%. We'll wait at 74%. I already ran these yesterday, as you can see, use case 1, use case 2, use case 3, but let's run it right from here. Okay, so it looks like it's done already. Here it is. So let's go in and see what the story is here. So that's the 386 portfolios. And it's telling me that I have 13 titles of portfolios with no overlap. That means there are 13 unique titles. Titles are the portfolio of the electronic collection selected for comparison. That was our source. That are not part of the electronic collections compared target, the target being the entire institution zone. So there are only 13 unique titles here. And then there is 373 titles with complete coverage overlap. That means of these 386 portfolios, 373 I already have in other electronic collections. That definitely sounds like a candidate to cancel, because 96% I already have. However, it may be the case that these 13 titles are extremely important and it's not worth me getting them in a different electronic collection. That's the consideration the institution needs to take into account. Then we've got here how we ran it. We chose this electronic collection. We compared it with the entire institution zone. We compared by title, etc. And we said include the date coverage in the comparison, which is how we know they have a complete coverage overlap. If some of them had partial, we'd have another file for partial. Now let's take a look at these files. Let's download them here. So we'll say download. So now it's downloading titles of portfolios with no overlap. Let's take a look at that. Okay, so what do we have here? These are ones with no overlap. That means they're in the electronic collection that we chose, and I don't already have them in my institution. For example, let's take this one here. By the way, we can also see how it did the comparison of what I already have, because we chose title matching method. And in another example, we're going to choose a different matching method. But here we chose title matching method. So this is the way it matched. It made everything lowercase, for example. Sometimes it changes other things. It normalizes the title. Here, for example, it got rid of the apostrophe between engineer and the S, because it's doing that on both sides. So that's how it's getting an accurate match. So this one here, this first one, if we go in and take a look, the name of this file again is with no overlap. So if we search for that now here in electronic portfolios, we could also do electronic titles, and we'll search by that title. We'll see here energy sustainability. Sorry, my volume came out here. This one doesn't have the coverage. This one's available from 1971. This one's just a title with no coverage from what we see here. Let's look at another example here. Let's scroll around. Let's take this one. This one's not active. And this is ours. So these here are unique. Let's take a look now at the other one, the one with all the overlap. So we'll come back to our list, resources, overlap collection analysis. Here's what we ran. And now titles with complete coverage overlap. So now we'll open this one. By the way, in these Excel sheets, we also have the analysis information. So if we were to send this file to someone or save it somewhere and not remember what it was from, we can see here how it was analyzed. There's a lot more columns, which we'll look at in a moment. So let's take a look at these now. Gas, chromatography, and mass spectrometry, a practical guide. So now we'll come back in, search for this one. And now we see, we have it here. Let's go in and take a look, for example. This one here. This is from the one that we ordered. And it has all full coverage. And then we also have it for eBook Central Academic, Complete UKI, and the one we searched for here. Let's see here also what we've got. I'm going to scroll to the right. And we can see here the values of the different matches that it has. We can see also what electronic collections the other ones are in. For example, the second one is in the one we searched for. It's also in ProQuest Safari Tech Books Online. Let's go see that example here, up and running with AutoCAD. So if we search here, okay, so here's the ProQuest Safari Textbooks Online, and here's ours. So we know that it's got the overlap. Let's run that again, doing it with the ISBN. Let me close. Okay, so let's say resources, overlap and collection analysis. I'm going to close this one so we don't get confused there. And let's run this again, new analysis, compare collections. So again, we'll say ERM 203. I can still call it 203 because it's giving me the date timestamp, so it's not going to be a duplicate. And I'm just going to put the name of the collection there. We'll say checking that one. By the way, you can run this a million times and you're never doing any kind of damage because it's not updating anything. So you can just keep running it like I am here, and you don't have to worry you're going to do something bad. So let's get this one here. And let's search for that. And I'm going to take it from the institution, not the community, the institution. Select. Last time I took it from the community, which means it's also checking what's in my institution. These use cases are going to become clear as we go through more of them. So now let's choose by ISBN because it's ebooks. So we're not going to choose ISSN. I'm going to compare it to the entire institution. I'll include the coverage and generate. Okay, let's refresh that. Let's see, last time they were almost done. I was going to check the start time and finish time of the previous one, but it's already done. Okay, so let's see what we got. Okay, numbers, not very different, but different. The percentage amounts, it's still the vast majority. It says titles of portfolios with no overlap, meaning they're unique. These are the ones that we'd be losing. 25% would be losing. Let's take a look at these. So this is titles of portfolios with no overlap. Downloading that one. Okay, technically, I can already see it's a different file because this looks like a different one than what we had before. So now it's matching on the ISBN here. Before, if you recall, we had the normalized title there because we had chose to match it on the normalized title. Let's go see. And a search in Alma for that electronic portfolio. No overlap. It's unique. Let's take another one. Cabaranis. Let's take a longer one so we don't get something that happens to have the name. This should be unique. Let's see here. Formulas and calculations. Okay, so this one, Elsevier, that's ours. Okay, let's see what else we've got through here. What other information we have. I'm going to scroll up so we can see the headers. So the source set, we know that we were comparing Elsevier Science Direct eBooks Referex Miscellaneous. It gives us the interface. The source set, we took it from the institution zone, the ISBNs that it found, and if it's active, which is yes. Let's take a look now at the other output file. So back into Alma, we'll come back to our list. Resources, overlap, and collection analysis. And we'll reopen that. And now titles with complete coverage overlap. Let's download this one. I'm going to close my other Excel so we don't confuse ourselves. And now we're going to download titles of portfolios with complete coverage overlap. Okay, let's see what we got here. Basic ship theory, or let's take a longer one again. This should have complete coverage overlap. And not only should it have complete coverage overlap, but if we go, I'm going to scroll to the right, and we'll see here, it should also be in ProQuest Safari Textbooks Online. That's an example we saw in the previous one as well. So now let's search for that. And there we are. So we've got it here in the Elsevier Science Direct ebooks, and we've got it in the eBook Central Complete and ProQuest Safari Textbooks Online. Okay, so that covers the use case one. Things are going to become clear, even more clear when we're going to look now at use case two. Let me see if there's any questions or comments in the chat. Okay, don't see anything in the chat. It's been 28 minutes and there's nothing in the chat. Just give a quick confirmation, anybody. Say, yes, we hear you. Yes, we see your screen, just so I know everyone's with me. When there's no chats, I get a little concerned. All right, people say that that's still there. Okay, thanks. Okay, now we're going to look at another one. Let's start with Taylor and Francis Library and Information Science Collection. Okay. So let's first of all do a search here. Electronic collection. Taylor. Let's see, maybe that's already ours. Taylor, yes. Okay, so it's a collection which we have activated from the community in our institution. It has 51 portfolios. So we're going to be dealing with this one right now. I'm just going to copy that. And the institution, as we see, they already purchased it. They're going to consider canceling it. And now it's journals. We're going to use the ISSN as our comparison. So let's run it again. Resources, overlap and collection analysis, and a new analysis. And we're going to compare the collections. Okay, so our source will be, let's first of all give it a name. This is going to be, again, ERM 203. And I'm just going to put the name of the collection there. And now choose the collection. And we'll choose the collection. Boom. Okay, select. Now, what do we want to do here? Again, we'll compare it with the entire institution zone. We'll choose the ISSN method. We'll leave everything else to defaults, and we'll generate. Okay, let's see now what's going to happen here. We'll refresh here. Last time they ran pretty quick. We can see it took less than a minute in the previous time. Here's the start time. Here's the start time and the finish time. You can see it started and ended the same time. Oh, here's our other example is done now. Okay. So this is the one we just chose. Now this time, unlike the previous one, now we also have an example where there's partial coverage overlap, this one here. So this is titles of portfolios with no overlap. Let's take a look here. I'm going to download this one. Let me close all my Excel so we don't confuse ourselves. And open. Okay, so this is the matching identifier. And let's try this first one. Library acquisitions, practice and theory. And electronic portfolios. And no overlap. These are not the same. This is library acquisitions, practice and theory, and technical services. So we don't have another one. This is unique. Just like the file says, titles of portfolios with no overlap. Let's take a look at the Journal of Archival Organization. Again, no overlap. This is a different one. This is just finding it because it's got the same word somewhere. So unique, no overlap. That's the important part here. We have a list of all of those which have no overlap. So we can immediately see, even if there's a lot of overlap, maybe these titles are very important for us. Here's an interesting one: resource sharing and information networks. So this also should have no overlap. No overlap. These are different ones. This is Journal of Interlibrary Loan, etc. So those are unique titles that if we cancel this collection, we will be missing it. We will be losing it, I should say. Let's see the other options. We'll close that. Then we've got, let's go back into our list here. Resources, overlap and collection analysis. Here it is. Titles of portfolios with complete coverage overlap. So let's take the first example: music references, MRSQ. And according to this one, it's also in CCC Get It Now. Let's take a look. Okay, so here it is. This is ours. And it's also in CCC Get It Now. Now, we have it in Taylor and Francis from 1997, Volume 5. And here it's available from 1992, Volume 1, Issue 1. So it's complete coverage overlap as well. Because if we have it from 1997 in Taylor and Francis, and CCC Get It Now has from 1992, then everything we already have in Taylor and Francis, we also have in the CCC Get It Now. Complete coverage overlap. This is a much clearer example, I think, than the first example we did. Let's see now ones with a partial overlap. So back to the list and a partial coverage overlap. So that would be this one here. And let's see what's going on. There's only one: community college, community and junior college libraries. Okay, let's see what we got. So in Taylor and Francis, we've got it from 1999, Volume 8. And here, that means from, meaning up till today. And here, in CCC Get It Now, they have it only until 2013. So we do have the title, but only a partial overlap, because from 2014 on, we have in Taylor and Francis, but we don't have in the CCC Get It Now. Okay, let's do one more example here that's not even in the PowerPoint or in the script. It's just a brand new one. I want to do an example here, a repeat of what I described as use case 1, where we're going to search an electronic collection in the community zone, one we don't already have, and we're going to consider purchasing it. So I'll put anything here, chemical. We'll get something without a lot of portfolios. Let's say, see, I always use chemical. We can see these are all already activated. Let's put this, oops, sorry, I want to put this in the community zone here. Okay. We'll find one that's not already activated. We'll say, I'm considering purchasing this. What would I be gaining? Okay. FAC, American Society, et cetera, et cetera. So let's say I'm considering purchasing this. It's got 70 portfolios. What do I already have? What don't I already have? Okay, so again, resources, overlap and collection analysis, a new analysis, compare collections. Pull this again, ERM 203, and I'll call this consider purchase that. Okay. Now choose the collection. So this time I'm going to search the community. And there we are. Select. And again, I'll compare this to the entire institution zone. Let's do it. Now, this is journals, so we can leave the ISSN method. And generate. And she's running. Actually, we don't even need to refresh. It refreshes by itself in this list. And this one took a minute. This one took a minute. The last 3 we ran took a minute. Let's see what's going to happen here. Still 0%. Oh, there we go, 100%. Okay. Okay, view report. So, 69 of them have complete coverage overlap. So we would immediately know here, don't purchase it. There's only one, and it's not even unique at all, not fully unique. It has partial coverage overlap. So let's just take a look at one example. I'll close that Excel. Let's take a look here. And all of these have complete coverage overlap. I didn't know I had so many chemistry journals. Here we go. Actually, what we did, we saw that I activated a lot of collections with the word chemistry. All right, so let's take a look at this and see what the story is. I should have complete coverage overlap according to the file. Electronic portfolios, title that. There we are. I've got 16 of them. Wow. So we were doing the one FAC. So let's see, just to see if the full coverage overlap is there. So whatever is in the community zone, we don't have it here because I'm searching the institution and we comparing with the community zone. What we can see, I've got from 1962 even. Oh no, that's a different one. From 2011. Oh, Journal of Combinatorial. Okay, so they're not all of them the Journal of Combinatorial, but we have available from 1999, for example. So all of this coverage of what I already have now in my institution, it's already existing in the community zone. So it's not worth it for me to buy that from the community zone. Let's just take a look at one other example. ACS synthetic biology. Let's even search by the ISSN. That'll give us a more accurate match rather than names from the title. Oh, we got to change that to ISSN. Okay, so I already have this. It's in that electronic collection that we were considering purchasing, but you can see I've got it from 2012 already in several collections. Not worth me purchasing. So those are the examples of comparing electronic collections, one from the community zone and one local. Now, by the way, I could also compare, for example, this, just choosing randomly, this Bacon American Chemical Society Cooper in all journals, and this one here, Bacon American Chemical Society front list. Or let's take this one here. I can compare two electronic collections that I already have. I'm going to put these on the side here, just so we can keep track. Let me open up a notepad. Let's say now I want to compare two electronic collections that I already have. Up until now, we've been comparing everything to the entire institution zone. Now we're going to compare these two electronic collections. So we'll say resources, overlap and collection analysis, a new analysis, compare collections. And we'll say compare two collections in institution. Up until now, we always chose entire institution zone here. So first of all, let's get the source. So now we're on the Cooper in all journals. Select, and I'm going to say, this is my source. So my target will be this. I could also compare to multiple collections, by the way. Now we'll say, compare collections from choose the collections you want to compare it with. Until now, we always chose entire institution zone. So now I'm clicking here. We're going to compare it with that one. Select it and done. Okay, so now we see both of them. No, these are journals. Let's leave the ISSN. Let's leave everything else as it is and generate. And I'm going to stop sharing for 1 second here because I want to open something up that's in a sensitive location for our next example. Okay, I've got it ready. Now we will share again. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Looks like it's done. I'm going to close this current Excel. Okay. So 80 portfolios have complete coverage overlap. They're both from the same vendor. They're both on the same topic. So that's typical. Let's just take an example of each. So this one is complete coverage overlap. So ACS applied materials, Let's take this. Will be in both of them. Both of those electronic collections. If we come in here, it might also be in other electronic collections, but in both of those Bacon ones, we will have it. So here it is in the Bacon American, et cetera, and here it is in the other Bacon one. And here. So that's the complete overlap. I think one example is enough there because we still want to do something else. And then let's take a look also at the ones with no overlap between those two collections. So we'll come back to the overlap and collection analysis. And here's our titles with no overlap. And again, that's no overlap between those two specific electronic collections. Okay, let's take a look here. Chemical and health safety. So this one does not exist in both this and this. It's only in one of them. Let's go take a look. That's Bacon American Society, Global and Cooperin. That's the difference. Global and Cooperin. So we'll remember. Okay, so it's in Cooperin. It's not in the Bacon Global. It's in the CCC Get It Now, but it's not in this one here, in the Target. So it's, as the file states, it's titles with no overlap. Okay, let's look at the last example here. I see a chat came in. Someone asks, what could be a reason? Let's see exactly what the person states. Why the analysis can be failed. It would have to be some kind of an internal, am I still sharing now? It would have to be some kind of an internal error. But if you choose electronic collections that exist, it won't fail. Okay, so let's now look at a situation where I get a file from a vendor. Here's a sample file I have from a vendor. Now, I made this file myself, and all of these are real journals up to here. Real ones that I have. Then I made ones up. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, etc. These are made up. So these I don't have in my institution, and these I do have in my institution. I know that already because I made the file, but let's pretend now we get a file like this from a vendor, and we want to know before we start doing anything with it or considering purchasing it, I'll check, what do I already have? Or what don't I already have? Because the vendor is giving me the file, and it's a file of titles which he's offering, and I want to know, should I purchase them? Or maybe it's a file of all titles in an electronic collection that I got from who knows where. Okay, and this has been something that's been requested in Alma for a very long time, since the very beginning. Okay, so, and there were very roundabout ways to do it, but this is a very clear way. So let's say resources, overlap and collection analysis, new analysis. Until now, we've been doing compare collections. Now we're going to do lookup titles. And let's call this ERM 203. And my description here is going to be see what in file from vendor a hen we already have, or what we don't already have, but in either case, what we already have and do not have. Okay, now instead of clicking and selecting a collection like we did previously, now drop a file or select to drag to drop a file or select or drag an Excel file. So let's just drag ours right in because we've already got it right here. I closed it. This is the file we just looked at a moment ago. Dragging it in and drop. Okay. Then select the population you would like to compare the titles from the input file with. So that's the first option is institution zone electronic resources, including community zone activated electronic resources. That's the first checkbox. The second checkbox is community zone activated, non-activated electronic resources. So now I'm seeing what in the community zone do we have? And I can also even compare it with physical resources in the institution zone. And I'm going to run this twice. What's going on here? There we go. I'm going to run it twice, just so we can see what the difference is between these two options. I'm going to call this first one Excel line per match. Now I'm doing one Excel line per match. The first option here. Judging from previous times where I've shown this, it's a lot easier to just show it than start explaining what we mean. But in general, I will try to explain it anyway. When there's multiple matches, do we want one line for the resource and then different lines? Or do we want a separate line for each one? We'll see what we mean. And there are places who may want to further process the Excel. That's why we did it in two different ways. Generate. So that's the populations. Oh, I forgot to select the population. So we're going to compare it with the institution zone electronic resources. Okay, so again, she's running. Let's already run it again with the second method. So I'm going to copy that. So let's say new analysis, now look up titles. We're going to do it the same exact way, except this time we're going to choose one Excel line per identifier. And let's go get the file. And institution zone, generate. Okay, so now we're running it twice. The first one completed already. Let's go take a look. So it's giving my input file. So if I want to know, wait a minute, what did I compare this to? I still have it. And it says, excuse me, 10, which is 58.82% of the input file titles were found in the institution zone. Let's go take a look. Here it is. So it's giving me several tabs. This is matches with a single resource. So these matched one other resource. If I search for this one and come to Alma, it's got one match. It's in the input file and it's here. One match. Then we have matches with multiple resources. Let's take this one here. So this one matched 3 of them, and it gives what electronic collections are. This is a really nice feature here. Again, people have wanted this since the beginning. So now let's search for this one. Okay, international research. I see all 3 of them. Then we've got no matches. So these are the ones I made up that don't exist in Alma. If we search for this one, we don't have it. Then we've also got the analysis information, like on all of them. Now, note here, we have one line, a separate line for each of the identifiers. In other words, library and information science. In fact, I'm going to take a picture of this, so we'll have it for later. So right here, you can see there's a separate line for each of the matches. Again, the Pakistan Journal, separate line for each of the matches. Now, somebody brought something to my attention. Let me read that. You didn't change the second analysis to the identifier option before searching, so both searches will give the same results, I think. Okay, well, we can go see. That's the joy of the fact that we can see exactly what we ran. So, oh, I hit the wrong thing there. Resources, there we are. So in the first one I ran, one Excel line per file. Let's see what I did. Okay, I think they're going to be the same, but let's take a look. Just to see again, just so we get the screen. I chose a file. I said the institution zone. I don't have to choose an identifier here because it's taking the identifier from the input file. If we look at that input file again, I'm going to close this. The person mentioned that in the second case, I didn't choose the identifier. It automatically takes the identifier from the input file. And we can look and see what identifiers are possible, but it's taking it from here. Let's go take a look. Someone says, please do a session on how to get rid of duplicate titles in Alma soon. Okay, that would be title level overlap analysis. We have something like that. Title level overlap analysis. It just looks at titles. If that's what you're referring to, we have something like that. We've done several on that, and thank you for the idea. We'll do another one. Okay, let's go look at our second example here. So now, back here. Okay, so this is the second one here. And let's go take a look. Here's my output. Download, open. Okay, so now let's go to multiple resource. Oh, I think he means to check the one per input file. Hold on a minute. I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to look at the chats. Okay. One Excel line per identifier. And I'm just going to call this one Excel line per identifier. I'll look at the chats after, so I got a full flow here. Okay. Done. Generate. While that's running, someone asked about the identifiers. If I say here, Alma overlap analysis electronic collection, you don't even have to spell it properly. You're automatic. Look at that. First shot. Okay, so here, look up titles, overlap titles, look up titles. So here it states in the Excel file what identifiers we can have and what they need to be called. So you can either do it by ISBN, ISSN, LCCN, or title. And you have to have this on the top. Now let's see here. This one's done. One Excel line per identifier. Failed. Okay, someone asked, how can it fail? Temporary technical issue. Let's try that again. New analysis. Look up titles. One line per match. Let's get the file. Compare that to the institution zone. Generate. Okay. When I stop and finish and read the chats and come back, going one full flow here. Okay, pending. Last time it took 1 minute. Time before that it took 1 minute. Let's see here. And in process, 100% completed successfully. Okay. Download. Open. Multiple research. Now you can see the difference. We have one line when there's multiple matches. Again, one line when there's multiple matches, one line when there's multiple matches. Compare that with the picture. We had a separate line for each match. That's the difference. This is when we have separate lines, and here's where we have one line per match. Okay, 11:59 local time. That means we're just about out of time. Let me see if there's any final match. Does the file report contain the portfolio ID? Well, let's take a look here. It has the MMS ID. Yes, it does have the portfolio ID right here. And again, you can play around with this as much as you want, because it's not updating any information. So you're not doing any damage. It's not like running a job that updates portfolios and then you have to be careful or do it in your sandbox, etc. You can run this all you want in your production. All it's doing is making reports. And you can even, when you're done, delete the reports. Remove from list deletes it. I'm not going to delete that one. I'll delete the one that failed, for example, this one. Remove from list, and yes, remove. It's gone. So you can run it all you want. Okay, thanks everyone for joining. and we will be posting this video to YouTube. It will be available on the page that we saw, the ALMA 2023 Resource Management page. And we look forward to seeing you in the next sessions. Have a nice day, everybody. Bye-bye.